You talked about how heart coherence actually will help activate the DNA. That's so beautiful. And I know that to be true innately.
There's so much information out there that keeps us not in heart coherence. It's keeping us either thinking about the future and what's going to happen. The minute we do that, we slip out of heart coherence. We're no longer in the portal of our heart because we're thinking about the future. And then also, if we're thinking about the past, that slips us out of the portal of our heart. But ultimately, you create your future based on the portal of now, and you can shift your whole entire reality. I've seen people do it in less than a day. Go from a really unfortunate circumstance, and I work with people with stage 4 cancer. I work with people that may be in poverty mode, and I've literally seen people in under a month change their whole entire life timeline stream. So the most important thing is slipping into the portal of your heart and really staying in the present moment.
Welcome everybody to the Heart Coherence Collaborative. Today I'm so excited because we have our new friend Alysa Rushton joining us. And it's been a long time to make this interview happen, so I'm so excited we finally got here.
Oh my gosh, Kyle, me too. I've been so excited about this day because I love the audience that you guys have put together and how you just show up and serve, and like the collective energy here for the people watching is just it's really special. It's really incredible. So I've been like a kid in the candy store waiting for this day. So I'm glad we can make it happen.
Me too. And there's something special about your energy. Every time we're emailing back and forth, I was just like, wow, these emails are very, like they're vibrating pretty high. Your energy is just very so positive. So I'm happy that you're here with us. And I would love to just start out by learning a little bit about who you are.
Well, yay. Well, you guys may or may not know that I'm a near-death survivor. So I actually died on the toilet just for a little bit. Yeah. So my life was off in the ditch completely. I was 240 pounds. I was on end-of-life medication. I had a PICC line in my arm. I was in the hospital every day. And I was just existing. I was barely surviving. And then I had a medical overdose of all the medications that were trying to, heal me. And when I died, it was the reboot that I needed. And in fact, that's what I want to talk about today is the humanity's reboot and the new soul blueprints, because we are here at this time to really activate the new soul blueprint. And I just feel so fortunate that I did get the choice to come back here and land back in my same body and flip it over to the other side.
Beautiful. Yeah. Could you talk a little bit more about the soul blueprint?
Yeah. So, okay, you guys. So we have been in a soul blueprint for the last 6,000 or more years that has been informed by giving away our power, a lack of sovereignty, being in fear, doubt, worry, scarcity, and ultimately we've given or abdicated our power as divine creator away. And that's been the main soul blueprint here. Mm-hmm.
Well, what can we do about
it? Well,
I know everyone's feeling that, I feel like a lot of people are feeling it just resonates. What you just said resonates with everyone.
Yeah. Well, what's so cool is that this new soul blueprint is coming online. And actually, I believe if you're watching this, you picked here right now, this lifetime, to what I call flip the coin. So we've all lived this experience of fear, lack, doubt, limitation, suffering, all of that, ultimate disempowerment. And we are now in the process of flipping the coin over so we can experience we live in a planet of polarity, so we can experience what sovereignty feels like, what divine creator feels like, what actually being able to create your best life feels like. And we do that by flipping some switches on in our DNA. And so we're in the actual process of doing that right now individually and collectively. And I'm getting so excited. So you might have to like pause me because I have so much information that I want to share about this.
Flow. Just flow. I want to just listen. I'm so excited.
Amazing. So let me back up by talking about how DNA works. I think this is an important conversation because it wasn't until the 1990s that we even discovered that we could track our genetic heritage. And then in the 1990s, they mapped the human genome, and it took over a decade to do. But it was a very rudimentary genome mapping. But we did find that we could map heritage, and we found epigenetics where literally the traumas and emotional imprints of our ancestors are stored within our DNA. So that's like current knowledge. We all know that.
Yeah.
So as human beings, we also know that we're pretty far behind when it comes to our technology. It's always trying to catch up. And so in your DNA, embedded within your DNA, is actually a divine DNA blueprint. It's the new soul's program. Now, avatars like Jesus and Buddha, they knew how to flip these switches on. And I'm going to talk today about the key card access. So it's kind of like this. Have you ever been into a museum where there's all these beautiful things and you have to have like a key card access to get it? Like if you were to clean those things or if you were to keep them safe, you would have to have special security access to go behind the doors.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the deal. These divine DNA activations that give you magical, incredible powers, that give you access to source energy, that give you access to instantaneous healing, unlimited abundance, anything you want, like levitation, bilocation, accessing all of the data of the universe requires key card access. So the key card access is your frequency. The key card access, you will love this, Kyle, is heart coherence.
So,
So we've got to be able to be in heart coherence in order to access these DNAs and turn them on. So they're embedded within us, and we are here, many of us. In fact, I imagine most of your audience, when they hear this, they're going to say, yes, that's me. I'm here to actually activate this. I am here to lead the way into this next evolution of human beings, because we are evolving, and we are evolving instead of in the old flip side of the program, which was total subjugation of our power. We're evolving in the knowing that you are divine in physical form, period, and that you have access to all of these incredible gifts and skills and talents and powers, but we do have to be a frequency match for those, because at higher states of consciousness, we wouldn't use these things for service to others and service to all.
I love that on so many levels. I go so many different places, but I want to just focus on what you just said, the service to others versus service to self. Is that something that people need to focus on? Service to others. Like, how do people get to that place? Because I know a lot of people that are there, and they're the people that I look up to, and there's times in my life where I'm just in that flow. But if somebody's sitting at home and they're struggling, like, how do you start tapping into that energy,
Well, that is such a beautiful question. And I think that probably it may not be the first step for somebody. The first step for somebody who's at home listening to this right now and struggling, which, by the way, I have been right there. I was totally addicted to end-of-life pain management. I was a 2-pack-a-day smoker. I was a drinker. I mean, I ate 4 pints of Ben and Jerry's every day. Like, if you look at my before and after pictures, I look totally different. So I don't know that the first step is service to self, switch to service to others. I think that the first step is clearing up your channel and some of the trauma that's embedded within the DNA, because trauma does embed in the DNA. And we can actually do a process around this today too, if we want. I call it Divine DNA Repatterning. And so what happens is this trauma from your ancestors, but also from your multi-dimensional soul,
Yeah.
right? Because you know that you've had past lives. You know that you've had these other experiences, and I don't even call them past lives. They're actually all happening all right now. Like a book is already written all
Yeah.
right now. You don't have to wait for page 51 to be written. It's right there. So time is actually stacked on top of each other. So if we're having something, especially something that feels intractable, we've just tried everything, we can't shift it. Usually when I'm working with people, it's because they're having some bleed throughs from some other concurrent timelines in the book of their soul, right, that is affecting them. So what we do is we go in and clear that out and heal that out on the multidimensional field, and then the now can shift because it's a ripple out effect, if that makes any sense.
Of course. Yeah, I love that. And one thing that I just want to touch on again, because it's so amazing. I love when somebody comes on and they give us another benefit of heart coherence. And you talked about how it actually will help activate the DNA. Can you just speak about that? Because that's so beautiful. And I know that to be true innately, but I've never heard somebody explain it like you just did. It's such a, I mean, what could be more amazing? You get into the heart and it's just like,
Yes. So a couple things before I talk about that, and circle me back if I forget.
okay.
Because one of the things I feel is happening right now on the planet is there's so much information out there that keeps us not in heart coherence. It's keeping us either thinking about the future and what's going to happen. The minute we do that, we slip out of heart coherence. We're no longer in the portal of our heart because we're thinking about the future. And then also, if we're thinking about the past, that slips us out of the portal of our heart. So one of the biggest things that we can remember to do is, yes, it's great to be tracking with information and, thinking about what can happen in the future. But ultimately, you create your future based on the portal of now, and you can shift your whole entire reality. I've seen people do it in less than a day,
Yeah.
go from a really unfortunate circumstance. And I work with people with stage 4 cancer. I work with people that may be in poverty mode. And I've literally seen people in under a month change their whole entire life timeline stream because they slip into the portal of their heart. And then once we do that, we affect reality, but we can't affect reality when we're thinking about the future. We can't affect reality when we're thinking about the past. So the most important thing, the key code access, is slipping into the portal of your heart and really staying in the present moment and being present. And there's so much that wants to slip us out of that. I used to work for a huge cell phone company at the corporate level. And there's so much technology that wants to slip us out. And if you understand what's happening in timelines, which I know you guys do, there's an Atlantean high technology timeline that's occurring, and there's a Lemurian, no outside tech, but inside technology that's happening.
We need to go deeper into this because we haven't had anybody speak about this.
Okay, so here's the thing. Your phones, your handsets, guess what? Yay, your handsets are driven by crystal technology. So we all know that in our computers, the Intel inside or the cell phones, there's quartz crystal that drives that technology. And that quartz crystal is one of the best things at transmitting frequency. So is gold, silver, copper, platinum. Okay, now think about the cell towers, how they work. So we're transmitting frequency and it hits the cell towers. And back in the day, we used to use copper wire to transmit frequency. Okay. So here's the thing. Your body is the most advanced technology. Your body is filled with crystals like magnetite in your brain. You've got your pineal gland that actually has calcium crystals around it and that make it fire and work. And your DNA is filled with crystals. They're microscopic, they're subatomic particles. And your body's filled with water. So the most high storage devices we have for information on a computer right now are crystal and water. They just stored in a drop of water the most amount of data known to man in one droplet of water.
Wow.
So think about your body a little bit differently as like soft technology.
Yeah.
And so we're having a choice point right now to go into maybe more fake technology and utilizing that. That's one pathway. And it's not a wrong pathway. There is no right or wrong. We're going to learn through it and grow through it all. But that is a pathway for some. And then the others, we're being invited into a more organic technology where you use your body as the tech and you use your body to access all of the information of the universe. And when you do that and when you turn on your DNA inside the body, that will occur like you have Jesus-like skills or Buddha-like skills. You will be able to shift things beyond your wildest dreams. And here's the thing, when you align yourself with other people that are also doing this work, you access like a grid of cell towers. And so that's part of this awakening process. If you think back to the 90s, did you have a cell phone in the late 90s when you could barely keep a call going? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that's because we had very few cell towers around, so it wouldn't blanket the area and coverage. So what's happening with humanity is this transition where human beings are being activated to hold a different frequency, turn on their divine DNA, and then they activate and act like cell towers to provide more coverage, so to speak, so that more and more people can activate and awaken and hold the frequency. So literally, it's like we've been in the longest dark night of the soul for over 6,000 years. And what's happening is that night is shifting slowly into daytime. And what's happening, just like at nighttime, you know how at night you kind of look at stuff and you think, ooh, what is that I'm seeing? I'm not really sure what that, it could be this or it could be that. And it would be really easy to hide stuff from people in the dark. So now energetically on planet Earth, we're going from this long night into the sunrise. But it's taking, instead of a matter of hours, it's a galactic sunrise. And so it's taking a matter of decades. But you can even see now, this year of our time, 2025, it's a lot harder to hide something from somebody. It's a lot harder to be in a frequency that is, you can pretend you're not that. Like you basically know when you meet somebody if they're a resonant match for you or not, right? Yeah. And so we're coming into a time where it's more based on resonant matches and resonance. We're coming into a time where we are going to be sovereign, divine creator beings. There will not be disempowerment. We're coming into a time when we're going to be educating people differently. If you think back to what John D. Rockefeller said, he said, I don't want a nation of thinkers, I want a nation of workers. And then he funded the education system. So we're coming into a time when that's going to start to pivot and shift, where we consciously birth babies, where we consciously educate for the soul. Right? And so if you can think about it like this, it's from a time of unconsciousness to high consciousness. And that's the big pivot we're making. That's the big shift we're making. It happens within the DNA. And there's, just like anything, there's some people that are being activated first. So that they can hold for more of the collective. Just like in the 90s when we put up cell towers, some cell towers went up first,
Yeah.
and then more to come. So our bodies are the same. And you've met that person, I'm sure, where you come into their physical presence and you just feel differently. You might even get an instantaneous healing just by being around them. And so that's what people who are activating their DNA first are helping the collective with. But we all have access to do it. We all have the ability to turn on this sequence within our DNA. It just requires a little work. Actually, we do have to put in some work, but it absolutely is happening, and it's super exciting.
Well, I could ask you a million questions, but I'm going to start with this one. So, one thing that I'm curious if you've seen, because we work with a lot of people that it seems like they're in the process of activating their DNA, but
Mhm.
sometimes what that looks like is not what you'd expect. Like your external environment might completely change to put you in this new situation. And I see a lot of people, they start doing heart coherence, and then their world might disrupt a little bit, but then they get put in this new situation. And I see some people wanting to go back to their old situation because they're like scared. Have you seen any of that? Like it can be scary for people sometimes. Like, so I think maybe there there needs to be more education to make people aware that this process is happening and it's okay to just go with the divine flow.
Yes, well, I love this question. So I think anytime we go into fear, we're actually not in heart coherence anymore.
Okay.
And so technically, we're not there. And what people are learning how to do is trust their own divine self and their own divine connection. And so they're just in the process of learning to do that. And it might not happen overnight. We sometimes need many opportunities. Like, have you ever seen a baby learn to walk?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I have two little guys.
Okay, so then you know they don't just one day stand up.
Right.
It's a series of falls and biffs and super wobbly legs,
Right.
and I think as humans, we think that we're going to get it on the first shot. And I know I didn't get it on the first shot. After my near death experience in 2005, it took me years of wobbly legs to
Yeah.
stabilize
Yeah.
in a higher dimension, a higher frequency. And so if people can kind of give themselves that little break of, oh, I'm learning to stabilize. It's okay. I'm learning to trust myself. I understand that I have over 6,000 years of programming of not trusting the universe. And then we can also use techniques like Divine DNA Repatterning that actually helps you shift your DNA in the moment
Hmm.
so that you can trust. Because DNA is informed by our flinking. Do you know this word flinking?
No, I've never heard of that. Flinking
Flinking.
or flanking?
Flinking.
Yeah.
Flink. Flink. It's our
Okay.
flinking.
Nice.
It's our feeling
Yeah.
and our thinking activates DNA. It's our
Wow.
fling,
I love that.
right? It's
Yeah.
our flinking. So a lot of people go through life just trying to think their way,
Yeah.
but we have to flink it. And a flink activates DNA. So what we can do is we can flink, and we have to remember that we have a physical body. And so when we're doing practices for trauma release, we have to engage the physical body somehow, and we have to talk to it because it's consciousness, but we treat it like it's not consciousness. So we're basically subjugating the body. So we have to involve the body. We have to treat the body like it is consciousness. We have to treat the body like it's listening to us. And we do that through directing flinks
Yeah.
to our physical body.
Yeah, you hear so many people like Joe Dispenza talks about a clear intention plus an elevated emotion, marrying the thought energy and the electromagnetic energy of the heart. That's just a
Yes.
blink.
Yes, it's a fling, but you also have to bring it through the body.
Okay.
So all frequency, like I could send out a lot of cell signal, but if you didn't turn on your phone, you're never going to get the call.
Right. Right.
So we're the same thing. We can be getting all this signal, but if we don't turn on our body and activate our body, that energy is not going to come through as well. Similarly, if we are running around,
Mm.
racing from task to task,
Oh yeah.
and not giving ourselves a chance to pause and be these what I call sacred sanctuaries of silence, if we don't give ourselves that rest, is very difficult for frequency to penetrate through. Let me give you an example. You're driving down a highway fast and there's spotty coverage with the cell tower. You're going to drop your call. You're just going to drop it. Frequency, if you wanted to stabilize and bring that frequency in, if you pull over to the side of the road, or you guys know this, if you've ever been anywhere with bad coverage, it's like if you just hang your head out that one window, you can keep the call, right?
Yeah.
We are no different. We've got to stop so that frequency can land in our physical body. And then once we've let that frequency stabilize within us, our body's going to upgrade. You'll feel healthier. You'll feel more vibrant. You'll glow a little bit more. You know, you might have extra intuition. You might have the hit to go and like work with the crystal. You know, you're going to have access to other information, but we have to allow the frequency to actually land in the physical body so that it can open up that DNA. So back to your question, how do we work with the DNA? How does heart coherence actually help us activate our DNA? So DNA is like locked down tight. You cannot access it when you're stressed. When you're thinking about the past or future, you cannot access your DNA. It's basically like you're in the museum. You'd like to go and see what other sacred things they have, but you don't have the key card in hand. You literally cannot access. So the access portal is the portal of your heart, is getting really present. First step, really present, and then actually tapping on your body in certain spots. I call these energy gateways. You could call them chakras, and we access the body and we talk to it like code. We give it a line of code to basically open up the doors of access. And then just like a good computer coder, we are going to delete a viral program that doesn't work well for us. And then if you were working with a computer and you were getting rid of this code that's kind of funky, you would also write another line of code to insert a program that was really positive. Okay. And then you seal up those lines of code and it's in the DNA. And here's the most important thing. If you guys hear nothing else today, your DNA is broadcasting your reality. It's your movie projection. So everything you see in your outer world is actually coming from the projector of your DNA sequence. And this is why you can have two people go to the same restaurant with the same server and have totally different experience. Have you ever had that? Have you ever seen that? Right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so when we understand truly that our outer world is actually coming from our DNA sequence, and let me give you some examples of how this works. Someone in your world is acting a certain way and you don't like it.
Yeah.
If we track it back, it's almost 100% of the time an interaction with our DNA and them. We're actually activating this person to treat us in a certain way. And because of all the programming that we've had, we're keeping that activation alive. So let me give you an example. Someone works for corporate America and their boss just doesn't value them. And they end up leaving and they go and get a different boss. And that boss doesn't value them. And then they end up leaving and going, and the next boss doesn't value them. Underneath it all, what's happening is we have an accidental installation of a program of not being valued. And so it's part of the work here on planet Earth to flip from disempowerment to empowerment side of the coins is to uninstall years worth of faulty programming. Because if you look at the bodies that we all popped into, think about the amount of faulty programs that are stored within the DNA that are then pouring out into our world. Fears and lacks and doubts, and even around animals. When you're changing your internal programming, animals will behave differently in your field. People will behave differently in your field because you're not projecting the same thing outward. So there was a study done back in 1992 in Lebdev, Russia. And they put subatomic particles, which is what makes up matter, into a test tube, into a vacuum. And these particles showed up very randomly, okay? Just random matter. Yep. But then when we inserted DNA into the tube with the particles, guess what happened? They started to form shapes and do different things. And that would change based on whose DNA was in the tube.
Wow.
So think of the implications of this.
Yeah.
Depending on who's standing in front of reality, reality molds to your projection machine.
So, question is, how hard is it to change our programming?
I don't actually think it's hard at all. I actually think it's really pretty simple once you know the trick, and we can totally do the trick. It's kind of helpful for me to know, like, if you have one that we could work with for your group, if there's something that people struggle with, we could work on that. It's really fun to do. Could be money, could be something.
Yeah, abundance. I think
Abundance.
Yeah, that's a great one.
Okay, so what is the most common thing you hear from people around you about abundance?
Well, basically that they're just struggling with their money and that they don't have it, That's what we hear often, just struggling. And my friend called me yesterday. I was at a concert and he was just like stressing out. He's like, I got in this new relationship and I'm with this beautiful girl and I don't have money and I need to figure it out. So it's kind of like almost like there's this feeling that they have to run and work hard to be abundant.
Yes. Okay, perfect. Let's do this one. This is so good. So then anybody who wants to do this, we're just going to ask permission to work with your multidimensional field as well. And so Kyle, will you do this with me?
Absolutely, of course.
Okay, so when you tune into your body, if you feel like you have any of that, which by the way, we all do have that program of having to work to get the money. Right? We have to work to get the money, and our money is equal to the amount of hard work we put in. When you feel into your body, where do you feel the most sensation around that?
Well, initially, I felt it in my neck.
In your neck. Okay, perfect. Right? Like right here. Yes. Oh, it's crunchy up there. Yes. You're carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders. Perfect. Yeah. So we're going to take your ring finger and your middle finger, okay, on both sides. If you want to, I'm going to do this with you, and you're just going to tap really lightly on your neck wherever you feel it. If you feel it in your shoulders or if you feel it in the back of your neck. Yeah, right here, right? It's like crunchy back there. Here we go. So I'm going to have you do some repeat after me's, okay? Yeah. Okay, here we go. I now release.
I now release.
Any and all places and spaces.
Any and all places and spaces.
In my physical and energy body.
In my physical and energy body.
In my cells, soul, and DNA.
In my cells, soul, and DNA.
And across the multidimensional field.
Across the multidimensional field.
Where I accidentally got installed.
Where I accidentally got it installed.
The false program.
The false program.
Of having to work hard for money.
Of having to work hard for money.
I release this program now.
I release this program now.
Across all time.
Across all time.
Spaces.
Spaces.
Dimensions.
Dimensions.
And realities.
And realities.
All genetic lines.
All genetic lines.
It is safe for me now.
It is safe for me now.
Finally safe for me now.
Finally safe for me now.
To receive abundance.
Receive abundance.
Spendable, bankable cash.
Spendable, bankable cash.
From having pleasure.
From having pleasure.
From relaxing.
From relaxing.
From being in joy.
from being in joy.
It's safe for me now.
It is safe for me now.
Finally safe for me now.
Finally safe for me now.
To be in financial overflow
To be in financial overflow
just from my presence.
just from my presence.
Good. So check into your body. How do you feel?
Oh, a lot more light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And did you feel the energy start to like lift off you as we were saying the release? Probably your whole audience felt that release start to activate. So behind the scenes, what we're actually doing energetically when you're tapping into this is we're opening up the DNA sequence. We're telling the DNA, we're pulling this program out of the DNA, of the body, of the cells, of the soul, of the multidimensional program. And we're pulling it out as the divine coder of our reality. We're saying no more to this program, and we're saying yes to abundance through overflow, spendable, bankable cash, just by our presence and being here, because it's a false program. And once you understand the technology of your body, which I got to see on the other side when I died, I got to see a lot of information, a lot of how we actually work as physical beings. So then I was given this basically like program process to teach people that you can actually shift your reality really, really fast with this. And because all we're doing is we're taking out one line of code. And if you have a phone and you've ever had it be glitchy and then you get the new update and it does different stuff,
Yeah.
it's the exact same thing that we're doing.
Yeah. Oh, I love that so much. So I'm curious, with your wisdom, I would love to just ask you. You mentioned at the beginning you love the energy of our collaborative. And it's such an amazing energy. We have like the best group, the best people, and they've all come here to do this, activate their DNA.
Yeah.
So how can we work together to make this happen better?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked this question. Yes, 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 yes. Okay. So the first thing is to remember that we all came here to do this together. To really seal that in the field as our intention to activate together and to hold each other in that, and to hold each other as you are a divine spark of light. You are a sovereign being, and that's only where we're going to see people. And to connect with each other. I've been setting up here, I live in Hawaii, I've been setting up what I call a New Earth Council.
Nice.
Yes. So this is a council, a circle of individuals, no hierarchy, but a circle of individuals, all who are holding frequency, being in heart coherence, and contributing to each other in some way, holding each other's projects in the highest light. So we're literally being asked to do communities differently. We're being asked to do business differently. We're being asked to educate our children differently. Basically, we're switching from unconscious habits to conscious habits. That goes so far as the water that we drink. Like when you wake up in the morning, instead of just guzzling down your water, place it in the sunshine for a little bit, hold the water, ask the light to activate in the water. And then when you drink the water, ask the light to activate in your system and attune your body to the highest frequency of health, abundance, joy, ease, peace. And that when we're consciously taking, things change. There's so many studies on this. When we use our consciousness, the things around us shift, because ultimately our consciousness is what impacts reality. It's what makes reality do different stuff. It's the reason why some people are incredible healers and some people are not. Incredible healers all know that they're incredible healers and that they can actually put a healing on something. But even we can go outside and speak to a plant. And if you stand next to a tree and you ask that tree, I love you so much. Would you come down here and just brush my face with your branches? The tree will lean over and touch your face with its branches. Yes. So we're remembering that we are this divine consciousness, and we're remembering that we're going from competition to collaboration. We're remembering that we're going from unconsciousness to consciousness. So how can we connect more together with our intention to connect, with the intention to hold each other in the highest timelines and the highest light, with even the intention of walking down the street and seeing your fellows as divine sparks of light, even if they're not behaving like it, even the things that you diametrically are opposed to, because the truth is we are all divine sparks of light. Every single thing on this planet is technically you pushed out. And so we're re-remembering ourself. We're re-remembering that we are one divine consciousness, and that we can talk to it all, we are connected to it all, and it is an incredible time to start to really work with that consciousness and look at your day. Ask yourself the question, how much of my day am I in conscious intention?
Yeah. I love this so much. I feel like we could talk for like 5 hours. So the one thing that I want to ask you about right now is you had mentioned your New Earth group. And so I'm really curious because you're talking about how, people are getting activated right now. They're like being lighthouses that are lighting up. How is that, if you could explain it in terms of the New Earth, are there two Earths that are happening and splitting into, like where some people are being activated and some people are going into a more materialistic world? Just love listening to people talk about this and hear their different opinions on it.
I love this question so much. Okay, so when I died, what I saw was that a lot of the programming that we have around this very topic is basically a program. The only reason why we're even in this conversation is because of a document, we call it the Bible, is because of some other documents that predict a happening. Okay, whatever that happening is. You might also have heard of like the grand solar flash, which I want to come back to in a minute. So there's this notion that with some people are going up and some people are going down. I would say this, that we don't have two separate Earths, we have 8 billion separate Earths.
Yeah.
Because everybody's reality is so different. Yeah. And that ultimately, when you pass out of this earth plane and you cross over the rainbow bridge, you will understand that it's not about two earths, it's about your soul's evolution.
Yeah.
And so we have multiple timelines to choose from at any moment in time, some that are much lower in frequency that is not fun for us to experience, and some much higher. By the way, what chooses your timeline is where you are in your heart. It's what you're flinking about. If people are thinking about doomsday, if they're doom scrolling, if they're listening to a lot of the news and going into fear, that is solidifying a pathway that they will get to experience in this lifetime. So we can doom scroll and we can watch the news and not go into fear. We cannot go into polarity. Instead, we can say something like, I see this in love. I witness this in love, and I infuse divine consciousness into this story. And what that does in the field is it actually imprints new information onto the field of your reality, and then you get to experience something vastly different. So all that to say, not one timeline or the other, but 8 billion and more different timelines and individual timelines. With every frequency choice we make, we're choosing into, for better or for worse, the reality that we get to experience. And what's amazing, and this is so incredible when you understand that you're a divine sovereign being, is that at each moment you can choose your key card access to those other frequencies. Because here's the other thing, off planet, beings like our friends, the Pleiadians and Sirians and Arcturians and all of those benevolent, loving beings, because we live in a very rich universe filled with a lot of life. Those beings are going to want to connect with you the more you're in the portal of your heart. They're going to want to connect with you the more you're in those high frequencies. They're not going to be able to connect with you when you're in fear. And like the fear is what keeps you out of that access amazing room with all the goodies in it. Yeah. So what you gotta remember is it's our frequency that gives us access. It's being in heart coherence, because you can have a really high vibe but not be in heart coherence. You know this, absolutely. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and then I think also along those lines is that there's a notion that someone on the outside of you is coming to save you. The off-planet beings or the grand solar flash or whatever that is. And here's the thing, that's just an old program that's been written into the old code. But once we wake up to the fact that you and you alone are a divine sovereign being, and so is everybody else, and you and you alone you're responsible for, this is going to sound really counterintuitive. We always talk about ascension. We're actually not ascending. We're descending divine consciousness into the body. Okay, so we've been in a body and we haven't been connected to divine consciousness. We're pulling that consciousness in and through the body, as Trevor Hall says, in and through the body, right?
Trevor, my guy.
Right? It's in and through the body. We're not ascending our consciousness up. We're bringing it down in and through the body, in and through the root chakra, in and through Mama Earth, and then spreading it down. We're collecting frequency. We're bringing it down through us. And you guys can actually feel that shift in your body as I talk about it. So when we then think, oh, this solar flash is going to happen and that's going to take care of all our problems, actually, the solar flash happens in your heart.
Yeah.
You are the solar flash that happens in your heart. And when you switch the polarity of yourself to intaking everybody's problems, intaking everybody's feelings and frequencies and trying to clean it up, and instead you go into solar flash mode and you're radiating out so much solar light in yourself, you flip the polarity. You go from disempowerment, from victim mode, into ultimate empowerment. You are the sunshine. You are the divine creator. You create everything in your world, and you can shift literally anything and have a whole totally different experience in this lifetime.
Yeah. Yeah, I can attest to this. There was this one time in my life when I was first really into heart coherence where I bought the Inner Balance, the heart math device, and I literally was doing it for like 12 hours a day. And one time I was on, do you know the Inner Balance? It's like this device you connect and it guides you in heart coherence. Yeah, I was on my, I was out back taking a nap on my hammock, but I was doing heart coherence while I was nodding off. And I woke up and all the animals were around me, like you said. And it was wild, like so many animals. I was like, what, animals that would never be there before. And I could definitely feel what you're talking about, where you're just changing your external environment by changing your internal,
Yes. And so anytime we're looking to the outer world, oh, these beings are going to come save me. Oh, this solar flash is going to happen. Oh, the rapture is going to happen. That's when we know we're not in heart coherence. That's when we know we're actually disconnected. No amount of someone eating a salad for you is going to get you healthy.
Right.
Right? New earth happens as and through you. You are actually creating new earth as you drop it through the body.
Yeah, for sure. Now, you have obviously access to higher dimensional energy as a channel. I'm curious, are any of these predictions we're hearing from any of these people that are doom and gloom actually real?
I'm so glad you asked me this question. I was hoping that you would.
Yeah, let's go there. Let's go there.
Let's do it. Okay. I want to back up and talk about why we get a prediction. So I am basically an energy intuitive for a living. I have an energy intuitive academy where I teach and train the exact skills that I use every day. So why do we get psychic information? Do you know?
From our heart.
Yes, we do get it from our heart, but why do we get it? We don't get it because it's empirically true.
Right, right.
We get it because it's a potential possibility in the field. Let me give you an example. I had a client who was really in a financial distress and possibly going to lose their house as a result. And they loved this house. And I could see in their field strong possibility for them to lose the house.
Yeah.
Okay, so I said, do you want to do that? Because it's in your field. Do you want that?
Yeah.
And this client said, no, I don't. And I said, what would you like to have instead? And she told me exactly what she would like to have instead. So here's the secret key, okay, to these predictions. If you get this, you get everything today. It's the biggest gift. The predictions that are happening are absolutely active in the field. They're active, they're possibilities, they are potentials. Just like this client had an active possibility in her field to lose the house. I asked her, what do you want instead? Now on the other side, you can go on YouTube and you can see the other side, which is New Earth, which is these incredible, amazing timelines, right? Those are also possibilities in the field, just like this client not losing her house. So how do we choose a possibility? It's not because it's empirically true that it's going to happen. We're given psychic information so we can make a choice consciously. And to say that again, we are given psychic information so we can consciously make a choice. We're doing that individually and we're doing that collectively. The more we make individual choices to not have the doom and gloom, the more we're consciously swinging the collective's experience as well. So here's the thing. This client, going back to the client, I could see that she had a strong 90% of her energy was into losing the house. So what did we do? We enlisted some support. How do you get a possibility to come through? You have to triangulate it. Okay, so you triangulate it, your consciousness plus her consciousness, my consciousness plus her consciousness, both of us seeing that possible outcome will make it come to pass. That's why you've heard where two or more are gathered. That's the secret, because you're both basically in quantum physics, you are triangulating a superposition and locking it in to the field as the outcome. Does that make sense?
Of course. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, no. So what it makes me think about is we do this heart coherence challenge, right? Where we have everybody do a heart coherence meditation every day, sometimes 30 days, sometimes 10 days, and everyone gets in this peak state. And, you know, we're really bumping that heart energy. There's a lot of synchronicity happening. How can we take that to another level?
Well, I think for just based on what you said, it's then triangulating, putting your energy into holding the destination that we're wanting, keeping our present moment attention on highest possible timelines, highest possible outcomes. And the more we are in the present moment, leaning into highest possible outcomes, the more they come through, just like this client who manifested over $200,000 in less than a month's time out of nowhere, right? And then, of course, right? That's how it happens. And then they get to keep the house and all of the things. So to your question, we want to make sure we're not energizing lower possible timelines. If we, this happens to me all the time. I see a lot of really dark stuff. And you can head it off at the pass. I can remember, you know, I live here on the big island of Hawaii, and the volcano was erupting back in 2018, and we have a geothermal power plant. And the volcano was headed directly towards that power plant, and people were freaking out and going into fear. And so I gathered 5 friends, and I said, let us focus our attention on seeing that lava flow around the geothermal power plant. And do you know what happened? You can actually see it on a map if you look down. The lava literally went like this and then broke into 2 streams and went all the way around.
I love that.
So I think it's about remembering that we are divine creators, that we create moment to moment, and it is what we're focused on, what we're flinking into existence and really making sure that we're not energizing some of those lower possible timelines, knowing that they're absolutely possibilities in the field. Yes, they're possible. Is that what we're choosing? Is that what we're saying yes to? No, let's not say yes to that. Let's say yes to where we learn through love and joy and pleasure and fun and more people waking up versus more people going to sleep. And that's how we choose in the present moment.
Okay, real quick question. You a fan of Trevor Hall?
Yes, I love Trevor.
Yeah. He's actually the guy that when I was in a real rough spot in my life in my younger years, I heard his music and it's what woke me up. So he was like my first guru. So I love that you shouted him out.
Yeah, he's amazing. And that's another thing to remember, that if we're still listening to music that keeps us in certain frequencies, how do we bypass consciousness and install a program in the body? Oh, it's music.
Yeah.
Music's the fastest way to install a program in the body. If you listen to most music, it is based in fear and lack and doubt and loss and not getting your love of your life. It is based in that if you listen to the words. And so one of the things you can really do to upshift your life is you can upshift your music. You can listen to folks like Trevor Hall. You can listen to folks like Equanimous. You can listen to folks like Room to Breathe. You can listen to some of these amazing composers that are fueling your best life.
Oh, I love that. I'm curious, we hear a lot of people come on and they talk about energy updates. Do you get that type of intuitive guidance on like what's happening energetically?
Yeah, I do an energy update every month. In fact, I did a big energy update for this year.
Wow.
And, one of the things that I think, again, to energy updates is what's true for one person is not necessarily true for all people.
Yeah.
Level of frequency that we are on is the level that we will encounter reality at. And so while I believe in working with general energies, I do, again, caution anybody to like go into predictions because we lose the present moment. And somebody's prediction for you, if you feel triggered in fear, we want to take a look at that. Like, it's triggering fear for us. And we don't do our best creation when we're in fear. That's when all the DNA tightens down. But yes, all that to say that I see a lot happening. I see a lot that is, in the possibility field, but then also remembering that we can shift the possibilities. But if you'd like to ask me predictions, I'm happy to talk about some of the possibilities that are in the field.
Oh, really? Do you have any that you'd like to share?
Well, I think that, some of the obvious ones are some shaking of the earth, right? Some more earthquakes and some more things like that. However, again, I feel that the more we are in our own frequency and working with the earth to bring in higher light frequency in and through our bodies, through our feet into the planet, being in rest mode, the less that has to happen in a devastational way. I see a lot of energy in the positive around co-creating new communities. Proactively now and really setting structures in place where we're creating new communities, setting structures in place where we're educating for the soul, setting structures in place where we're actually having businesses aligned with the soul that are not aligned in hustle and all those things. And one of the things I really see is that there's more energetics, neutrinos, which are subatomic particles of information. So more light, basically, that is coming in to hold in place the new energetics, the new ways of doing things. Whereas even 10 years ago, we didn't have the amount of subatomic structure support to hold that. Does that make sense? So from like a matter perspective, our matter is actually different now because we have different neutrinos coming onto the planet in place.
I love that. Would you be able to guide us in just like a new timeline, highest and best thing like you did before, where we just kind of like move into our highest timeline?
Absolutely. So we're going to do this individually first,
Sure.
because if we don't do this first ourselves, I
Mm.
mean, at the end of the day, when you pass on this planet, it doesn't matter. When you pass out of your body, you're not going to be like, oh, how is the planet doing? Did they make the timeline ascension? You're not going to say that.
Right.
All you take with you is your soul's gifts. You're going to forget about this third dimensional construct, because you're actually going to remember that it's really not real. And you're going to remember that you're a soul and that this was like a holographic school.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love
So
it.
let's do this. This is fun. I call this the Hall of Highest Timelines.
Okay.
Okay. So let's go ahead and close down our eyes and just take some nice deep breaths into the heart, relaxing the body down. And in your mind's eye, you can feel this, sense this, or just pretend that you're walking towards a beautiful room filled with windows and light. And in that room is the most gorgeous couch you've ever seen. It's comfy, it's got blankets. The room's filled with crystals and just windows all around you, and you're just bathed in light. And whenever you feel ready, you're just going to lie your current body down on the couch and get snuggly, taking some time to get the wiggles out. And what we're going to do is we're going to allow your current consciousness from your current timeline to float out of the body with the intention that we're going to give the consciousness an upgrade of your highest timeline with the most joy and abundance and ease and bliss. And so with your consciousness now coming out of the physical body totally safe, totally supported, noticing that there's a beautiful door that is open. The door is iridescent, so you can see through it. And it's already open. And on the other side of this door is a beautiful lit up pathway. And this is the hall of your highest timeline selves. So whenever you feel ready, you're going to take your consciousness out of the door and go walk down the hall and look to your left and right. And just notice which one of your highest timeline consciousnesses would you love to explore. It's going to light up in gold or maybe iridescent rainbow colors for you, however this works. And you might just feel it. You might just get a sense. So letting yourself merge in with this higher timeline version of you, noticing that in this higher timeline, the body is healthier. The body holds more light than ever before. The body is stronger, more vital. And then allowing any downloads of what you're doing for fun and pleasure and to contribute to humanity, just letting that all flow into your consciousness. Taking deep drinks of this higher timeline into your body, into your consciousness, allowing those movies, those images, those feelings to download. And then whenever you feel ready, you're going to walk this new consciousness, this new timeline filled with more abundance, more joy, more ease, more peace than ever before, more you in your soul's purpose. This version of you, knowing that you can come back to this hallway of high timelines anytime you want and upgrade even more. But for now, just walking back down the hallway, but noticing that the room elevated where your body is in, it's now in a higher plane. And you're going to walk your consciousness of the high timeline. And you're going to put it back now in the physical body, in the couch, or wherever you happen to be resting now. And you're going to allow this version of you to become real. Almost like you're in a teleporter where your particles start to dematerialize and rematerialize. This new version of you comes in and infuses and updates your soul, your cells, your DNA, your blood, your bones, your mitochondria, your hair. This new version of you comes and updates every part of your physical body for your highest timeline, for your highest levels of magic and joy and synchronicities, and a life that is on purpose, a life that is healthy and abundant. Bringing through the particles to remineralize, reparticleize your whole entire physical body. So much so that when you look in the mirror next time, you actually look physically different because you've got new consciousness running in this version of you, this new upgraded, updated, highest timelines version of you. So taking some nice deep drinks into your physical body, with this new activated version of you coming back, shaking the body around.
Oh, that was awesome. Thank you so much.
How'd you do?
Oh, I felt amazing. I went left, and there was a lot of cool things that came up. I want to do a lot more education on heart coherence on our channel. Just, that was one of the big things that came up. Just simple things to get people into the heart. We interview a lot of people on our channel, but the educational part I'd love to do more of. So.
Yes. Yeah. So isn't it great in the higher timeline version of you where your business is like 1000xing and you're serving and you're on the
I'm
highest.
shredded. Yeah. Yeah. It's happening. Yeah.
Yes. And you've got the information, you've got the frequencies to come through, and now you have the information. Oh, actually, to be on that timeline, I've got to do more educating. Beautiful.
Yeah. So thank you. This has been so amazing, and I would love to have you come back. I'm curious, how can our audience get in touch with you, and what do you have going on in the world right now?
Oh my gosh. Yes. Well, there's a great little toolkit that it's free. You guys can utilize this. It's called the Raise Your Vibration Toolkit. And so you can just go to raiseyourvibrationtoolkit.com. It's what I actually put for myself after my near-death experience. I needed to actually help myself first, which is what I always suggest, like really anchoring frequency in and through our bodies first. So that's a great place to start. And then for those of you who do want to develop your psychic and healing abilities, we have our Divine Light Energy Healers Academy. We only have 2 cohorts a year. Right now, we're not in a cohort. So we'll have our cohort opening this fall, but it's a wonderful, super supportive place where we're activating more of that divine DNA. And you are going to learn to be the best gifted, intuitive, and healer for yourself, because, ultimately we can do it for ourselves the best and then serve our communities. So yeah, it's just a wonderful skill set to activate.
Awesome. Well, it was so amazing meeting you. Do you have any final message for our community?
The final message. Yes. Remember that you are here to be divine in physical form. You are new earth within you. You are the highest timeline activation. You are the one who gets to pick our future. So you can do it with your frequency and your heart coherence.
Let's go. Thank you so much. I love this. This was amazing.
Oh my gosh. Thank you, Kyle. This was so incredible. Oh, and you guys, pop me your questions in your comments. I am here for you. I want to know your questions. I will answer literally every one of them, or if you have something to share, because I know that Kyle is this way too. We do this work for you. We're
Yeah.
here for you. So we love being of service. So if you have any questions or you just want to like help get some help energizing something, drop it below and we will super triangulate your superposition.
Oh, yeah, you are our people. You're the perfect person for our channel. So thank you, and you can come back anytime.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for having me. And I missed your sweetheart, but I'm so glad we were
Soon
able to.
enough. Yeah. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye. We love you.
Love you.